Today we're going to be working on what we call fractions as division. This is the beginning unit section, I guess you could say, when we start multiplying fractions. They also get to see it again when they are dividing fractions, but we specifically teach this section before we teach the multiplication of a fraction. We want students to understand really what a fraction truly is. Fraction is division. So for example, if you notice down here at the bottom, a over b equals a divided by b, that will make more sense in just a second. And it really does confuse them, and they get all freaked out when they see a whole bunch of letters in math, but they'll get to that when they get to algebra. So I'm going to go ahead and read this problem to you. It says Miss Fox needs to share 4 ounces of paint equally among 5 art students. How many ounces of paint will each student get? Okay, the kicker here and the things that we are doing here is we really just need them to tell us what's going on in this problem. What are we dividing by? What is going on? Students have a hard time with this problem because what they want to do is just solve. They want to find the answer. There's really technically no answer. There is an answer, but it's not what they're used to as far as an answer goes. What I need them to do when they're solving a problem similar to this, and I'll show you another example after this one, is analyze what's going on in the problem. Okay, what am I trying to solve for? A lot of them are missing out on that part here. We need to figure out how many ounces of paint. That's what we care about. We care about the paint. I don't care about how many kids get stuff. I care about how much paint is going to be split up into. That means what I'm working with is my paint. Okay? Then I'm going to be splitting the paint into the students. And I always make this joke of we don't chop up children. We're not breaking apart the students. We're breaking apart the paint in this problem because it says how many ounces of paint. If it was flip-flopped and it talked about the students, then that would be a different story. But in this case, we're working with the paint. So what I would ask the students to do would be to literally write me a division problem for this, okay? How many ounces of paint will each student get? Okay, so I have a total of paint. So I have 4 ounces of paint, and I'm going to divide that by 5. Now, some students are actually dividing this, and they're thinking too hard. I don't need them to think too hard. We're going to come back to this equation in just a second. Essentially, what I need the students to be doing, once they figure this formula out, then they're golden. But in this math problem, they're technically dividing 4 by a 5. We're going to take 4 ounces of paint. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to give a little to each student. So I'm going to break them up into fifths because I need 5 pieces. So I'm going to take each one. I'm going to break up the ounces of paint that I have, and I'm going to give a little piece to each student. Okay, so I'm going to give each kid, so this is kid number 1, kid number 2, kid number 3, kid number 4, kid number 5. And I can do that through all of these things of paint. But if I look at this, kid number 1 gets 1 piece of 5 in this ounce of paint. He also gets 1 piece of 5 in this ounce of paint. 1 piece of 5 in this ounce of paint, and 1 piece of 5 in this ounce of paint. Therefore, the student is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of 5. They're going to get 4/5 of an ounce of paint. That is all that I'm asking the students to do. So in other words, if you look at this, A divided by B is the same thing as A over B. If the student can figure out what is being split apart into how many pieces, then they don't even need to do any of this work here. This is just to help them check their work. Right here is the amount that I own, how many slices I'm going to break it up into. Same thing as saying A over B. The amount that I own the amount of slices. This is the total that I have. Okay, the total and our slices. That is all that they need to do with these kinds of fractions as division problems. Now, I'm going to keep this here, but I'm going to switch my board. I'm going to switch this board out. This is the same exact problem, but it's written in a different way. And this is what confuses the students when they see it written in. Of course it chooses not to come off right now. There we go. Whew. Now, this is the same exact problem. Same exact numbers. I'm still splitting up paint. But students are getting confused because it's now got a 5 in the front. So maybe the 5 is on top and 4 is on the bottom. That is not the case. The student has to read the problem. We're still trying to figure out how much paint is used. In this problem, instead of doing 5 divided by 4, because that's what we did last time, that's not correct. It cannot be 5 divided by 4. I'm not, what I say, chopping up children. I'm not breaking up the 5. In this problem, I'm still breaking up 4 ounces of paint. So Ms. Fox has 5 art students. She needs to share 4 ounces of paint equally among them. How much paint will each student get? In this case, I'm still doing 4 is my total amount that I have. 5 is the number of slices that I have. If you reference the next video, I will show you another example of fractions as division.